Speaker, members of Congress, please welcome Diaper Donnie, Man Boom Mussolini, Captain Bone Spurs, Mar-a-Lardo, the President of the United States, Donald Jellybelly Trump.
Yeah, he throws his on it right
to pass out.
To the crowd and
my head hit the wall.
And right on the kid. All of a sudden he can hit free throws. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. We need a President Shaquille O'Neal, right?
The White House podium was once again transformed into a stage, and tonight's performer, the one and only Donald Trump. He addressed Congress with the usual pomp, circumstance, and just a hint of reality TV drama. Because, let's be honest, he loves the camera time. Every time this man steps up to speak, it's not just a joint session, it's a full-blown spectacle. It's a brace yourself kind of night, and is this really happening? Event where policy takes a backseat to performance. His speech started late, probably waiting for the last layer of bronzer to fully set, but when it finally began, the reactions were predictable. Fox News hailed it as brilliance, a historic moment of statesmanship. Others, well, they saw it as the usual Trump special, loosely connected sentences, grand self-praise, and just enough coherence to pass as a presidential address. But whether you love him or loathe him, one thing is undeniable: nobody turns a political speech into pure theater quite like Donald J. Trump.
Mr. Speaker, members of Congress, please welcome Diaper Donnie, Man Boom Mussolini, Captain Bone Spurs, Mar-a-Lardo, the notorious P.I.G., General Von Schützenpants, Putin's Pork Bucket, His Flatulency, the President of the United States, Donald Jellybelly Trump.
In a night full of political theater, Jimmy Kimmel took to the stage with his signature mix of sharp wit and sarcasm. He began by spotlighting the Trump family as they gathered to watch the president's speech, an odd sight considering the current political landscape. Yeah, there you see members of the Trump family, Kimmel quipped, naming off the usual suspects: Eric, Ivanka, Jared, and even Melania making an appearance, ensuring the room wasn't devoid of Trumpian presence. But as Kimmel noted, the Democrats weren't the only people who hate him there. Trump was stepping into the speech with a negative approval rating, a rarity for any sitting president. According to a new poll from CNN, Kimmel continued, 52% of Americans disapprove of the way Trump is handling his job as president. The other 48% responded in Russian, so we don't know exactly what they think. The audience erupted in laughter. Kimmel dove into the absurdity of the polarized American political climate. 90% of Democrats disapprove of Trump, 90% of Republicans approve, he observed. Who are these crazy 10% of Democrats who approve of what he's doing, and who are these crazy 90% of Republicans who approve of him? Kimmel wasn't done yet, offering up the analogy of remarrying an ex-husband and finding out once again that they cheat and steal and fart and snore all the time. The crowd laughed, but Kimmel's point was clear. The American people were trapped in a bitter cycle of political division. His humor shone a light on the confusion and disillusionment of a divided nation, all while the president's allies filled the room with a sense of forced enthusiasm. Kimmel's comedic genius was in full force, making a real-world political crisis digestible, and most importantly, incredibly funny. Whether or not the president's allies were truly thrilled to see him, Kimmel made sure to remind everyone just how complicated and, at times, ridiculous our political reality had become.
Wait a minute, I didn't know Jesus did that too. In the name of the Father, To me and the Holy Spirit, I guess.
In his speech, Trump laid out his MAGA agenda for the next 4 years, including highly unpopular tariffs, cozying up to Russia, tax cuts for the wealthy, and the questionable idea of turning Gaza into Atlantic City. Because why not? These are the kinds of policies that apparently blue-collar America voted for. Trump boldly declared, "Our momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back," and not the gay kind either, but the regular kind. What does that even mean? The stock market's down, consumer confidence is low, the dollar's down. But hey, at least egg prices are soaring. And then, with the kind of confidence only he can muster, Trump just keeps going.
Our egg prices and Elon Musk. Look at, there's Elon looking for people to cut loose. It would be really funny if he fired Trump just one day. Elon was in the House tonight in his official capacity as America's highest-ranking DOGEbag, and these guys are...
Jimmy Kimmel couldn't believe the audacity of Trump's address, especially with everything that's been happening in the world. The Dow dropped 1,300 points in the last 2 days. A dozen eggs cost more than a haircut. Planes are falling out of the sky, and Canada's booing our national anthem, Kimmel pointed out. But somehow Trump waddled up to the podium, declaring that America was great again. He went on about a bizarre tale of a guy hitting a woman in the face with a volleyball, bragged about his $5 million immigrant gold card, and even boasted about ending transgender mice. Meanwhile, he told farmers to have a lot of fun and claimed the days of unelected bureaucrats were over, all while Elon Musk clapped like an enthusiastic fool. Trump also made an official move to make English the official language of the US, because apparently it was time to speak English again in this country. And honestly, say what you will about Trump, but Kimmel had to admit the man certainly knows how to use language, even if it's totally nonsensical.
The state of California passed an outrageous law declaring their whole state to be a sanctuary in the failing New York Times by an anonymous, more Americans could receive heart, lung, and liver transplants when they gaze upon Yosemites, the men and women who selflessly enlist. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges they sacrifice every day for the furniture. To put defensive missiles to that beautiful Orion space capsule. Trump. Hurrah, MAGA. God bless the United States.
Very sure. You know what? It ain't easy to speak with that much honey mustard in your mouth.
As Trump took the stage, the big question on cable news was whether the Democrats would make any moves to disrupt the speech. Well, they did make their presence known, some wearing pink outfits, which Kimmel thought was pretty wild. But it wasn't just about fashion. Some Democrats were yelling at Trump so loudly that even a very unhappy Keebler elf bobblehead, aka Speaker of the House, had to jump out of his booster seat to throw Texas Congressman Al Greene out of the House. The tension in the room was palpable, with the drama spilling over into a spectacle only cable news could capture.
Mr. Greene, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Oh man, little Mike Johnson is going to be standing up very proud tonight when he gets home. Remove this gentleman from the chamber and bring me my pouch of nuts.
Kimmel couldn't help but take a jab at the scene, imagining Speaker Mike Johnson standing tall and proud as he headed home, probably thinking, this is the moment, this is my legacy. Meanwhile, in the chaos, Kimmel quipped, remove this gentleman from the chamber and bring me my pouch of nuts.
And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
You could quit. You could go back to Mar-a-Lago and shove your head down that gold toilet for a few months. We'd like that. Maybe you'll find those secret documents you flushed.
Trump, ever the entertainer, also managed to reach across the aisle. But not for unity, of course. Instead, he whined about how, no matter how much good he does for Democrats, it's somehow never enough. The audience had to wonder, was this a moment of bipartisanship or just another attempt to stir the pot? Kimmel, with his signature wit, suggested that Trump should head to Mar-a-Lago, maybe take a break from the chaos, and shove your head down that gold toilet for a few months. Maybe you'll find those secret documents you flushed. He then pivoted to the economic chaos Trump unleashed, slamming the president's decision to impose a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico. These tariffs, he pointed out, were set to send food prices skyrocketing and could add an extra $122,000 to the cost of a new car, though Kimmel cheekily implied that if you can't afford a car, you can't complain about the price of gas, calling it Trump's 4D chess move. But in true Kimmel fashion, he predicted that Trump wouldn't stick to his guns. Instead, he'd likely pretend to have gotten something big in return before lifting the tariffs. As a response, Canada fired back with their own tariffs, along with an unusually fiery statement from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, proving that the game was far from over.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense.
Making sense isn't really our thing anymore. We can't do that. Nowadays, we're more into making in our pants.
I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this.
We don't want it either. All this time, we thought if it got real bad, we could escape to you. Now that's oot too. What the hell are we going to do?
Meanwhile, down in New Orleans, it was Fat Tuesday, and while things were chaotic in D.C., there was an entirely different level of chaos happening in the Big Easy. The streets were filled with revelers so drunk that Kimmel joked, some of them are at risk of being appointed Secretary of Defense right now. He then turned his attention to the festive parade, where Shaquille O'Neal, the celebrity monarch, was soaking in all the Mardi Gras madness. Shaq knows how to have fun, Kimmel quipped as the big man was spotted enjoying the parade, proving that even in the midst of political chaos, a little New Orleans flair could make for some much-needed lightheartedness.
I began to pass out. Then my head hit the wall. Boom. But I heard
Let's look at that again. He throws this on it
I began
right
to pass out.
to the crowd
Then my head hit the wall.
and right on the kid. All of a sudden, he can hit free throws. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. We need a President Shaquille O'Neal, right?
After Trump spoke, it was time for the rebuttal, as is tradition. The opposition party had their turn, and they sent in a senator from Michigan to give the official response. But of course, in true political fashion, there was more than one rebuttal. As if one wasn't enough, there was a second rebuttal, this one in Spanish, delivered by a representative from right here in the Golden State, California. Talk about keeping things spicy. It was like a political game of who's got the best comeback, with a little international flair thrown in. The whole night was turning into a series of comebacks, each one more dramatic than the last.
Ese discurso es una Gracias.
We're in March, and it's Women's History Month, a time to celebrate the incredible contributions women have made throughout history. It's a special month sandwiched between Black History Month and Women's History Month, though it's only a matter of time before Trump eliminates both February and March for being too woke. But despite his ongoing reservations about anyone who isn't him, our commander-in-chief took a rare moment between bites of fried chicken today to mark the occasion by celebrating one of the most important women in American history. No, not Harriet Tubman, not Susan B. Anthony, but none other than, wait for it, himself, naturally. It's a move that probably surprised no one, but still left the rest of us scratching our heads.
Rosa Parks, what a lady. She stood up, she sat down, she did the whole hokey pokey, and she did it on a bus. It's like a limo, but for poors. And she wouldn't go to the back. She wouldn't go to the back because she knew that if the bus drove below 55 miles an hour, it would explode. Rosa, I call her Rosa. What a beautiful name. Went on to do many things. Activism, civil rights, probably. Many say best of all, she came in third on Celebrity Apprentice Season 5. Sinbad cleaned her clock, wasn't even close. But she was fantastic. And I know right now she's up in heaven riding that great big bus in the sky with her best friend Jesus, who is white. So white. Keep it up, Rosa. Rosa Parks. Wakanda forever. Happy Women's History Month to all my women out there, especially the 9s and 10s. Love ya.